Hi, good morning, and welcome to SRMSDC Studios. Today we are going to read the landscape with forces reshaping small businesses. And in the studios today, I have with us business veteran Mark Samuel. The rules of running a small business hasn't changed. They've just been rewritten. Economic pressure, shifting customer behavior, new technology, workforce headaches. If you're a small business owner right now, you know the feeling. Something's always moving. The question is, are you moving with it? Or are you still waiting for things to settle down? That's what this conversation is about. And I'm joined today by Mark Samuel, longtime advocate of small businesses. And we're going to cut right through the noise and talk about what's actually happening right there. So, welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Monty. Thank you for welcoming and having me.
So, let's start with the economic pressure. Let's start with the money because that's where owners feel it most. What does the economic landscape actually look like right now for small businesses?
Actually, right now it's tight. Uh, that's the honest word. Like the margins have been squeezed from both ends. Okay, the prices really haven't come down like the people thought they would, and then the customers are being a lot more deliberate with their spending. So I will say while we're not quite in a crisis, we're in a correction. All right. And
Yep.
we do know correction, it separates the businesses that built value from the ones that were just doing good during the pandemic.
But what does that actually mean, though? Are we talking about closures? Or are we talking about a chance to sharpen up?
Honestly, I'm going to say both. Some businesses that were actually kept afloat, because of the pandemic era, demand are now facing a serious reckoning. Okay. Now, but for owners that are willing to look clearly at the numbers, and when I say numbers, I'm talking about their margins, I'm talking about their customer mix, and I'm talking about their pricing. This is actually great at forcing function, okay? And so pressure creates clarity. And the owners who use this moment to get honest about where their revenue come from, that's the ones that are going to come out stronger on the other end.
That idea of clarity is interesting. What's the one financial lens you tell every small business owner to look at right now?
Honestly, customer profitability. Not just revenue, but profit per customer. As most owners will actually be very, very surprised that some of their largest accounts are the least profitable. All right? And so when they actually run the numbers, okay, is once you see that, then you can start making smarter decisions about where to invest your time, but most importantly, your energy.
Okay, so that's a good segue into our next topic, changing customer expectations. Let's talk about the customers because their behavior has shifted pretty dramatically. What are you
Absolutely.
seeing, Mark?
Honestly, is the customers now expect more, faster with less friction, and they'll let you know about it publicly
Yeah.
if you fall short. The bar for good enough is to really just move. Okay, people compare their experience with your business to the best experience they've had. Period.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the industry or category, but the best experience they've had overall. Okay, an example. I guess a couple of examples would be the checkout speed of Amazon.
Ah,
Okay,
yes.
Lyft. Okay, Lyft. They have real-time tracking, and the seamless thing they love. That's how people are baseline of expectations right now.
That must sound exhausting for small business owners trying to compete with billion-dollar businesses.
Honestly, I mean, it can feel that way, but here's the reframe: is big companies they can't do what a great small company can. An example would be is they don't know your name, all right? Is they can't remember that you may have an allergy to a certain ingredient, or that you actually prefer a specific, kind of way of doing business or approach. All right, is the human element. It's something that's genuine, personal, and reliable. An algorithm cannot duplicate that. The
Yes.
opportunity is to be excellent at both. Is reduce the friction and then dial up the relationship.
So it's not either or, it's modernizing the experience while deepening the connection, right?
Absolutely. That is exactly on point. Okay, it's convenience earns the transaction, and the connection is going to earn your loyalty. Is you got to have both.
So basically, technology as an equalizer.
Yes,
Let's get
absolutely.
into
Yes.
that. Let's get
Yep.
into technology. It's a polarizing topic for a lot of small business owners. So some embrace it, some feel burdened by it. What's the right way to think about technology?
I guess what, honestly, you got to stop thinking about it as technology and think about it as a help about, I guess, your capacity. So, an example is most small business owners that I know is honestly is they're doing the work of 3 to 4 people. All right. So AI tools, let's just say automation and good software. These give you back your time and increase your bandwidth. All right. And the question isn't do I need AI? It's what tasks are eating away my hours that a tool could actually handle and give me back that time.
So, can you give me a concrete example of that?
Sure. Okay, so let's just say a customer communication is a huge one. All right, is responding to inquiries and following up on quotes and sending out reminders. That can largely, be automated without losing the personal touch. Let's just say scheduling, invoicing, basic bookkeeping. All those aren't glamorous, but they add up an additional 15 to 20 hours to a person's week for some owners. All right. And so let's just say that you recapture that time, then you can put that time and energy in only things you can do, which is relationships, strategy, and quality.
Gotcha. Yeah, very important and very key concepts. But what about the owners who are worried about the learning curve or the cost of implementing something like this?
That's a fair concern. Okay, but I guess the curve is genuinely a lot lower than people think or actually used to be. Many of
Okay.
these tools are designed for non-technical people, and the reason I know that is because I am one of those non-technical people.
I'm right there with
And
you.
so right, and so start small as you pick one problem, find the tool that solves it, and run with that. Don't try to overhaul everything at one time. Is the cost of not adopting though is often a lot higher than people realize.
So we've tackled technology, which is supposed to help the workforce, but let's actually talk about workforce pressures
Mhm.
because that's been a persistent pain point. Is the labor market still as difficult as it's been?
Well, it's actually stabilized a bit, but it hasn't gotten easy. I guess what's changed actually is the dynamic. Okay, is workers have recalibrated exactly what they want from a job. All right, so flexibility, they want meaningful work, and most important is they want to feel valued. That's not a phrase or phase, should I say. That's a permanent shift in expectations. And small businesses actually have a structural advantage here they need to actually lean into.
How so?
Okay, a small business can offer things that a big company cannot structurally. All right, a real relationship with the owner. All right, I know the owner. Flexibility that doesn't have to come through 3 levels of HR. Okay, approval. Those are things, but they're very, very important on mine.
Yes, and finding and keeping good people are very key. So, in doing so, you got to talk about wages. What about wages? Because there are a lot of small businesses that feel that they can't compete in the wage department.
Okay, now wages are very important, but I will say this here is research has shown consistently that pay is rarely the only reason that people leave. Cultural recognition and growth opportunity rank just as high as pay. And know what you can and can't compete on. This is very important too. And be very intentional about the things you can deliver. All right, so don't try to be everything. Be exceptional at 2 or 3 things that matter to the right people that you want to have working for you or working with you.
That's nicely said. Given the amount of time that we've had, we've covered a lot of ground. Economic pressure, customer expectations, technology, workforce.
Mhm.
If you had to leave our listeners with one overarching thought, what would it be, Mark?
I would say don't wait for disruption to stop because it won't. It's the
Ah,
businesses that are thriving right now aren't the ones who survive the change, is they're the ones who learn to operate inside of the change. All right? Is you read your landscape clearly, find the openings of the disruption is actually creating, and then you move towards those. And so that's not optimism, honestly, for its own sake. That's actually a strategy.
well, that's a great note to land on, Mark. Thank you. That was sharp and practical, which is exactly what our listeners need.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and good luck to everyone out there.
All right, y'all. That's it. That's our opening session. Stay tuned for our next session, and I appreciate you, Mark. And we'll see you soon. Have a good
Thank
one,
you very much.
everyone.
All right, everyone.